The weight of expectation. The fourth layer is emotional and relational. Nancy Guthrie raised Savannah with a philosophy of love bound to expectation. Love was expressed through standards, through the constant insistence that strength was the price of affection. This instilled a hunger in Savannah, a lifelong question of self-worth. No achievement, no public praise, no admiration could fully satisfy that hunger. The question that has shadowed her for decades persists now, amplified. Am I enough? Not for the world, not for the audience, not for her colleagues, but for the woman whose love defined her early life. The loneliness of success. Despite extraordinary success and public admiration, Savannah faces a private loneliness. She is performing flawlessly under the gaze of millions, while the most important validation, the voice of the mother who shaped her life, is absent. This is a subtle, quiet tragedy. It is the tragedy of achievement paired with longing, of strength paired with isolation. It is the tragedy that goes unnoticed by the world because it produces no headline images, no sound bites, no viral moments. It is the invisible ache of a lifetime, magnified by the crisis at hand, the invisible burden. Even as Savannah stands composed for public consumption, the psychological burden is immense. She functions at a level most could not sustain. Every carefully structured statement, every expression of calm, is the result of years of preparation to endure pressure without collapse. But this skill comes at a cost. It masks a deeply personal grief that has no outlet. The public sees strength. Savannah experiences layered tragedy, the intertwining of fear, love, expectation, and the impossible knowledge that the one person who could ease her suffering is out of reach. The legacy of love and expectation. Nancy's love was real and fierce, but it was bound up in performance, in standards, in lessons that left Savannah seeking approval beyond simple affection. That love shaped Savannah into the person she is, accomplished, resilient, admired, but it also left her with an interior hunger that public success cannot satisfy. This layered dynamic, the very love that made her strong is the love that left her yearning for unqualified affirmation, is part of the tragedy. The timing of the kidnapping, during the peak of Savannah's life and career, amplifies this legacy painfully. The heart of the tragedy. The deepest layer of tragedy is that the person who could answer Savannah's lifelong question is missing. The words she has longed for, "You are enough," cannot be spoken. Every public display of strength is a performance, in the absence of the one person whose voice could allow her to stop performing. This is not just a crisis. It is the culmination of decades of conditioning, love, expectation, and longing. The tragedy is that Savannah is demonstrating the very strength that her mother instilled in her, but cannot receive the affirmation she secretly craves. The gift that can heal. If Nancy returns safely, the greatest gift she could offer her daughter is not advice or instruction, not another lesson in strength or composure. It is the simplest and most profound of words. I love you. Words that require no performance, no achievement, no standard. Words that affirm Savannah's worth simply as she is. This would not erase the fear or pain she has endured, but it would allow her to stop searching for validation, to finally experience the unconditional love that has always been her birthright. Conclusion: a call for compassion. The tragedy of Savannah Guthrie at 54 is multi-layered. It is not only the public crisis of a kidnapped mother, the risk to life and the national spotlight. It is the private, lifelong ache of a daughter trained to be invincible, yearning for affirmation from the person whose love taught her that invincibility was necessary. Let this moment remind us of the human cost behind the headlines. When Nancy walks through the door, let those 3 words be spoken and heard. I love you. Let Savannah finally know she has always been enough. There are 2 versions of what is happening to Savannah Guthrie right now. One is the version everyone has seen on the news, on social media, in carefully curated statements and composed appearances. The other is the hidden reality, the deeper layer that exists beneath measured words and public composure. Most people see only the surface, the strong, calm woman who stands in front of cameras and seems unshakable. They admire her. They call it strength. They send prayers. But what they don't fully grasp is the private suffering behind every controlled expression, the private storm that only she feels. A life built to succeed. At 54, Savannah has accomplished what most people spend a lifetime chasing. She built a career recognized across the country, navigated intense institutional challenges, and raised 2 children while holding one of the most demanding positions in television. Her life is a model of professionalism, achievement, and perseverance. By this point in life, she was supposed to be experiencing the rewards of decades of work. But February 1st, 2026, changed everything. Her life split into 2 tracks: the public track, where she had to remain composed, and the private track, where she faced the unbearable reality of her mother being taken. The immediate crisis. On that morning, Savannah's mother, 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, was taken from her home. The word kidnapping became attached to her name, and the nation realized the stakes. Nancy required daily medication to survive, and every hour without it put her life at risk. For Savannah, this knowledge was a constant weight. Behind the camera-ready statements and careful public demeanor, she carried the awareness that her mother's very life was in jeopardy. Each moment she maintained composure, she did so not because she wasn't terrified, but because the consequences of unraveling were too great. Performing under pressure. The second layer of tragedy is psychological. Savannah has been conditioned her entire life to perform under pressure. Her upbringing taught her that weakness is dangerous, vulnerability is a liability, and the correct response to fear and crisis is composure. She was trained to function when everything inside her wanted to collapse. Her public poise is not evidence of invincibility. It is evidence of decades of careful conditioning. The very skills that allow her to handle crisis with grace also amplify her suffering because they leave no space for genuine personal breakdown or emotional release during moments of unimaginable stress. A daughter's silent pain. The third layer is deeply personal. Savannah's mother, the source of the conditioning that taught her to be unshakable, is absent. The one person whose authority could have allowed her to let the walls fall down is the person who has been taken. Without that presence, Savannah must navigate a crisis, both public and private, alone. Her training compels her to perform, but it also denies her comfort. She cannot release her grief, because the very person who would have allowed her to do so safely is the person missing. The absence is not just physical. It is an emotional impossibility, a void at the center of her experience.